Alex Polizzi is an award-winning hotelier with over 20 years' experience of working in the world's most luxurious hotels. Born into the legendary Forte hotel dynasty, she's on a crusade to transform Britain's most desperate hotels and B&Bs.
It looks like it's been ridden hard, this old pony.
From outrageous owners to dodgy decor.
I don't know who the decorator was, but she deserves to be bitch-slapped.
Nothing escapes the hotel inspector's beady eye.
Roasted fingernail swamp.
She's like a spy.
Or her quest for perfection.
Why are you ranked the worst? That's the question that I'm asking you.
It's a complete false lie.
This week, Alex returns to the Walpole Bay, where the past was threatening the hotel's future.
This whole building is rather like a time capsule for other people's junk. You're running it like a personal fiefdom.
Personal fiefdom.
3 years on, is everything now present and correct?
I'm quite ready to do battle, if that's what's needed.
I have a house clearance company who will just clear out the rubbish.
Yeah, but it's the definition of rubbish.
3 years ago, Alex Polizzi packed her bucket and spade and took a trip to a seaside hotel that was a beacon to a bygone era. Now, she's on her way back.
I'm heading back to the Kent coast, to the Walpole Bay Hotel in Margate, which was definitely one of the biggest challenges in my career as the hotel inspector. Stepping into the Walpole was like stepping back in time.
Owned and run by the Bishops, Mum Jane, son Justin and daughter Dominique.
Once you walk through our doors, you're in another world. A world where good old-fashioned standards and people cared about each other and people talked to each other. And that's what we do here.
General manager and queen of all she surveyed, Jane Bishop, was infatuated with the idea of living in the past.
Walpole is not just a hotel, it's a museum too.
Every nook, cranny and corridor of the hotel's 5 floors was filled with Jane's schmutter.
It's a really, really unusual, wonderful old building full of the most amazing artifacts that you wouldn't see anywhere else.
The experience proved to be anything but happy families.
Mum certainly is front of house. This is her stage, her theatre. We do have different views on how the hotel's run.
We don't agree on a lot of things. People come from all over the world to visit our museum, and Justin calls it mother's junk in front of the guests. He has no soul.
My brother wants to modernise, and my mum wants to keep it all traditional. And I can see there'll be battles in the future.
We need standing room and the organ.
Choir normally comes in the door and has that area there.
Yes, darling, but the easiest thing is to move this table and give us lots of floor space.
Calm down.
It was a family at war.
The family relationships were becoming more and more frayed. I basically don't feel that we'll have a family at the end of it.
It wasn't just the family that was falling apart. With a 20% occupancy for 41 rooms, it was also the business that was at breaking point.
We're in a bit of a rut, and we don't know how to get out of it business-wise. We may not even be here in 12 months' time. It's make or break, really.
Three years ago, the business was falling apart, and the hotel inspector was asked to help pull it together. What Alex didn't know was that she was walking into the crossfire of Jane and son Justin's bickering.
Jane, Alex Polizzi.
Hello. Welcome to Walpole, Alex.
Thank you so much for inviting me to come.
Oh, it's lovely to have you here.
The family's feuding even extended to the decor. Justin wanted to modernise, like his design for room 305. While Jane believed the rooms should remain like room 103, firmly planted in the hotel's Edwardian past.
Now, I'd like to go up to my room.
103
Lovely.
is a lovely little old four-poster with a balcony on the front.
Fantastic.
But just
Or 305, which is a wonderful new four-poster bed on the top floor with the best view.
OK, thank you very much. I'll go and look at them both, if that's all right with you, and then I'll make my decision of where to stay.
Well, you'll decide on 103, Alex.
305.
103.
305.
103.
Be 305, Alex.
I think she's going to fall in love with Walpole because people do. And I think as Alex goes round the room, she will see that every single room is different, but it has its own little character. Apart from the modern one, of course.
305 is, in my opinion, the perfect hotel room. It's got everything in there to a grand scale.
This is my least favourite stuff in the entire world. I never understand. What do people think it adds to a room to put little chunks of wood somewhere? Why is there a wine rack in here? Why is there a little table under the window? OK, for a start, the only reason the wine rack is here is because it's pine, and everything else is pine, so it all matches. This is actually quite nice. And you know what? It's immaculately clean, too. Whoever chose the art should be put up against a wall and shot. I see what Justin's trying to do. He's trying to make a modern, clean-looking room, but it's just done with such awful taste. What on earth is this bedroom doing at the Walpole?
Justin's inferior design didn't go down well with the hotel inspector. Next, it was Jane's traditional room 103.
Well, straight away, the bathroom is a lot less impressive. I hate carpet on a bathroom floor. First of all, men are not known for their aim. It just soaks in all the moisture from all the millions of showers that have happened, and so it's quite often a bit mouldy and rotting underneath the carpet. Look at this plant in this awful collection of pots. I don't like this little arrangement, and although I like the sofa, I still don't understand why there's not a table in front of it. OK, so I get it. The whole idea is that this is an Edwardian bedroom, which is definitely more in keeping with the Walpole Bay Hotel. And I think probably this is the way to go. Although this family clearly needs some help in designing their rooms, because although I didn't like the bedroom upstairs, I can't say I'm overly fond of this one either.
But choosing a room was the least of the hotel inspector's problems.
I have a couple of issues with the Living Museum. There needs to be a cull.
She's gone. You will grow to love it, Alex.
I doubt it, Jane.
3 years ago, Hotel Inspector Alex Polizzi visited the Walpole Bay in Margate. Once at the epicentre of the town's tourist trade, the grand old dame had fallen on hard times.
On the face of it, to the outside world, Walpole is a successful business. We're vibrant, we're full of people, we're always busy. But in reality, we're not.
With dwindling visitor numbers, Jane Bishop and children Justin and Dominique were at loggerheads over the hotel's future.
Mum is a step back in time and really feels that that's the character of the hotel and what it's got to offer. I feel personally we need to modernise, but pretty much what she says goes.
As morning broke, Jane was up early preparing breakfast.
I don't know which room Alex stayed in last night, but I do hope it's 103. It's very cosy and comfy, and it's got an antique four-poster bed, and hopefully she'll get a good impression from that. But I think she may have chosen 305. Oh, I'm terrified.
On her way to breakfast, Alex couldn't help but notice the hotel's cramped corridors stuffed with all the exhibits that made up Jane's museum.
I mean, what the hell is this? Lovely milk bottles, but what it's got to do with Edwardiana, I've got no idea. And why have 5 typewriters?
Over the years, Jane had collected or had donated thousands of objects, including 22 sewing machines, 19 typewriters, 21 carpet cleaners, 40 milk bottles, 450 seashells, 32 suitcases, and even 1 action man.
I just can't quite believe that people come here and give Jane the limbs to their dolls. This is like a doll graveyard. Very spooky. Hornet's nest from France. I mean, why is that here? And don't tell me that that washed up on the Margate coastline. What there is here is a mass of stuff, and some of it is junk and some of it's good, and no one's willing to decide what should be chucked and what should stay. The overall effect is much less that of a museum than of a junk shop. Good morning, Jane.
Good morning, Alex. How did you sleep?
Very well, thank you for the hot water bottle.
That's okay. And which room did you sleep in?
In your room.
In 103? Oh,
Yes.
I'm so pleased.
Well, I wanted to sleep somewhere that was representative of the whole hotel.
Right. Here we are, Alex.
Thank you.
Milk, cream and butter curls.
Ooh, butter
There we are.
curls. I
Butter
am being
curls.
spoiled.
You are, there we are.
So how much do you allow per customer for breakfast?
Oh, my goodness.
You don't know, do you?
I haven't got a clue.
After 14 years in charge, Jane didn't know how much a breakfast cost the hotel, or even if they were making any profit.
It's lovely to be at a hotel where you can see that the family really care about customer service, but I'm shocked and astonished about how little grip they've got on the financial side of this business. And you can't tell me that that isn't having an effect on how successful they are.
My problem is I just can't answer her, and that's what makes me feel silly.
Alex tracked down 34-year-old administrator Domini to find out more about how the hotel was run.
I asked your mum this morning how much it cost to put breakfast on a plate, and she had no idea. Someone needs to know the answer. Someone needs to have all those facts at their fingertips, and I'm assuming that that person is going to have to become you.
I do a lot of paperwork here, but I don't have a lot of responsibility for the paperwork here. So there's not really much responsibility given away from my mum.
I mean, is it a source of conflict in the family?
That's a key problem for us. We don't know how to communicate in the business without upsetting the family balance.
Alex had heard enough. The hotel inspector sat the family down to present her findings. First on the agenda, Jane's junk.
I have a couple of issues with the Living Museum. You have very little discernment about what is important and valuable stuff and what is a load of tat. You have a cabinet with amputated dolls' limbs in it.
Oh, they're not amputated. The dolls were never made.
Well, I
The
know.
notice says this in the 50s.
Jane, things aren't just valuable because they're old.
I'm going to take issue with you now, Alex.
No, I'm sure you're going to take lots of issue with me, but you have to let me finish.
Yes, go on then.
Please, because I think there is this morass of stuff, this tide of stuff that has submerged everything that is valuable and interesting and that is actually genuinely has a point to being here. Why on earth do you have a hornet's nest from France? What on earth does it have to do with anything? This is not Edwardiana. This
The
is
museum isn't Edwardiana. The whole purpose of the museum is reminiscence. And it's not that they've got a financial
But your clientele
value.
is dying out, Jane, because how many people are going to go on reminiscing? All in all, there needs to be a cull.
We obviously differ in the intrinsic value of what's here.
Yeah.
And that is my bag.
If this building is to survive, it will survive as a hotel, not as a museum.
Next, Alex wanted to discuss the hotel's bedrooms.
At this point, I ought to say, I'm no bigger a fan of Justin's room than I am of one of the old rooms, because I think that your room looks like it's come out of a catalogue.
Right.
And the Walpole isn't that, is it?
No, it's not.
Now, I think you need help on the design, because I also think that some of the older bedrooms have quite a lot of design flaws in them. The best thing would be a combination of the two, so some mod cons, along with a healthy dose of the essence of the past, but not the reality.
Finally, she wanted to tackle how the business was run.
I think, personally, that you're slightly unfair to your children because you give them title and not enough responsibility. And I think that that is something that has to change if you want them to keep on taking care of the Walpole once you no longer will. If you want it to survive another generation, you really have to change the tenor of your ways because you're running it like a personal fiefdom.
Personal fiefdom, I should. She's gone.
I like Alex's idea of us taking on more responsibility, myself and Dominique, but I don't think Alex realises how hard it's going to be to implement change here.
To help unify the hotel's decor, Alex agreed to renovate 2 of the Walpole's bedrooms, incorporating both Justin and Jane's vision. But in return, Jane had to agree to cull her collection.
We're going to have a real battle on our hands with Alex and the museum. Nothing in this building I consider tut. Why hate the hornet's nest? Half the people in Britain have never seen a hornet's nest. Yes, that is a very personal memory.
Yeah, but it's modern, Mum.
And it shouldn't be.
To show willing, Jane reluctantly tackled her pride and joy, watched by Dominique.
People love trying the hats on, which is why they're there.
They don't. We're a
But they
hotel.
do.
And look, the hat's up there. You've got modern hat, modern hat, modern hat.
But they're
Have
of
one.
interest.
Have one to show the era, not 12. Mum's attitude really is going to have to change a little bit for us to progress.
After hours of toing and froing, Jane grudgingly agreed to get rid of some of her exhibits.
Pink plastic keyring.
But the 3 shells and keyring were unlikely to impress the hotel inspector. A few days later, Alex returned to check on progress. A notice on the door stating no treasured possessions would be presently accepted suggested a positive sign.
Jane.
Hello, Alex.
How are you?
Welcome back to my fiefdom.
Thank you so much for allowing me here, Your Highness. So, Jane, have you actually got rid of anything so far? Shall we have a look, Jane?
Yeah, we can have a look, Alex.
You see, I love this. This is all to do with the Walpole. And I think it's wonderful and it's absolutely right that it should be here. Oh, my God. You still have the dolls.
The dismembered dolls, Alex, yes.
I know.
And the hornet's nest has pride of place.
I just don't think that you've really embraced the spirit of weeding out in quite the manner that I was hoping you were going to, Jane.
Well, I don't actually agree with your weeding out.
You don't understand the principle from which I'm coming from.
No. That's because I'm not a businesswoman.
OK.
You will grow to love it, Alex.
I doubt it, Jane. I think Jane's completely deluded if she thinks that she's providing this wonderful ambiance for other people's treasured possessions to live on. In fact, this whole building is rather like a time capsule for other people's junk.
If people give things to you, you are not going to then give them away because you want more space, or they're untidy, or they're not considered worthy by other people. You know, I just cannot accept that.
Could Alex save the family from falling apart?
I briefed all the staff and then you've gone behind my back. I've got to leave. Bye, Dom.
How would you like to spend 7 nights full board on the idyllic island of Mauritius, courtesy of the Long Beach Resort? We are giving you and a friend the chance to win this fantastic getaway where you can bask in the sun on the resort's private beach, taking in the stunning scenery. And if you're feeling more adventurous, you could head to the nearby lagoon for a day of snorkeling amongst the coral reefs and tropical fish. To win this fantastic getaway, call 0904 1611 555 or text HOTEL to 85559 or send your name and phone number to Hotel 5, PO Box 7557, Derby DE1 0NP. Calls cost £1.53 from a BT landline. Calls from other networks may vary and from mobiles will cost considerably more. Texts cost £1.50 plus one message at standard network rate. Lines close at midday on the date shown on screen and 3 days later for postal entries. For rules and winners, go to channel5.com/win. Three years ago, Alex visited the Walpole Bay in Margate and found a hotel on its knees.
We've either got to do something now and improve the situation, or I just feel it's just going to go on until it burns everybody out and we don't have any money left at the end of it.
Low occupancy and a feuding family had put a massive strain on the business.
The easiest thing is to move this table and give us lots of floor space.
OK.
We've got to have somewhere to sit then.
OK. Calm down.
The hotel inspector had been fighting with Mother Jane over the monster that was her museum. In a bid to persuade Jane to cull her collection, Alex secretly invited Kent Council's Museum Development Officer, Sam Bowen, to covertly examine the hotel's displays.
Right, so I've got someone to introduce you to, who I hope is going to be very helpful. Come this way. Jane, this is Sam.
Welcome to the Walpole fiefdom.
Congratulations, because you've made me speechless in some respects. This isn't unusual. The situation you found yourself in isn't unusual. But I really do think you are going to have to declutter and pick some. I'm sorry, I will be firm about that. Yeah. And for a visitor to understand what you've got here and actually to do justice to the objects themselves, because they're just not speaking to me. You don't know the stories behind them. You really need to declutter. I mean,
no, seriously, I couldn't. If somebody's given us something, donated it, whatever our impression of it is, they've made the effort to do that, and they've given it to us to take care of it for them. Whether they're
how
older.
Are you taking care of the objects?
Well, I'm not taking care at the moment. You want to formalise me?
No, I don't want to formalise you. I want you to do what you do better, to make it more of an asset to the hotel. So that the hotel side, which we also need to make change to, and the museum side both come up together so that it's more appealing as a whole. The fact that you still argue the principle about never wanting to get rid of anything is the fact that nothing has actually gone through.
Jane's attitude to the museum was symptomatic of her unwillingness to change anything.
I can be stubborn, and I can be bolshy, and I can be big-headed. And she will grow to love the hornet's nest and the dismembered dolls and the hats eventually.
Alex thought the key to safeguarding the future of the hotel lay with the younger generation. She wanted the children to have more responsibility.
I get the impression Alex believes in me, and I don't want to let her down.
Alex wanted to see if Dominique was getting a handle on the hotel's accounts.
I think I'm in my infancy with the figures.
Yeah.
I think I could do an awful lot more, and I honestly think that I need to look into a more business-like approach.
But a week later, it was clear old habits had died hard.
Why are we accepting museum donations still?
I have never seen this before in my life.
A man said,
Yes,
it in
yes.
and said that you told him to bring it in this week.
Dominique put signs up and said, no more donations, please. And I don't think they were on there longer than half an hour at a time.
It's just really disrespectful.
OK, I took the notice down.
I briefed all the staff, I did all the notices, and then you've gone behind my back. I have no resolution to it. I'm talking to a brick wall. I've got to leave.
Bye, Dom.
Bye.
It took Dominique's disappointment to make Jane rethink her whole stance on the museum.
I've got to take criticism from my children, and that's difficult because they love me, they love what I do. They don't necessarily love the museum.
I think Alex truly, truly feels that the museum could be a solid part of the hotel that enhances the hotel.
As she said, the rooms are important to us because that's where we earn our living. And it's back to the thing that the museum's our hobby, and I'm still treating it like a hobby.
We do need to refocus on what we need to do to make the business profitable and viable as well.
OK, I'll agree with you there.
Under pressure from the family, Jane transformed the ballroom into the mother of all junk shops. The extent of her obsessive collecting was laid bare for the world to see.
We're running out of space, guys and girls.
Museum expert Sam came back to help her sort the crud from the cream and put together a collection any proper museum would be proud of.
Milk bottles, they don't say anything about hotels or holidaying or the seaside or Margate. I'd strike them off.
We'll make the most of this. It's the one and only time you're going to see me throw anything Walpole in the skip. Here we go.
It was a massive breakthrough. But did this change of heart herald a new dawn for the hotel?
Chips.
Jane wasn't the only one who'd been busy. To demonstrate how Justin's more modern tastes could be incorporated into Jane's more traditional preferences, Alex's design team got to work renovating 2 of the hotel's bedrooms. She returned to reveal the bedrooms to the family. But first, she wanted to check progress on Jane's new look living museum.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine, Alex, thank you.
So nice to see you, so nice to be back here.
But no hats.
Ta-da! God, it looks lovely.
No, it doesn't. It looks boring.
Bare. It looks too bare.
Very bare, yes.
It was a good start, but how cluttered were the upstairs corridors?
Start here. But, ta-da!
That looks wonderful.
Right, and this is the costume room.
Well, I much prefer it all again being grouped together.
Even the hats that once swamped reception had found a new home.
Impressive, darling. And I see a glove collection.
Oh, yes.
To me, it's now something beautiful to look at.
Thank you.
So I'm really pleased that you've done this.
Still
Well
got
done.
samples out to show people.
I have no doubt.
Alex then revealed the 2 rooms she'd redesigned to Justin and Jane. Mother and son had clashed over a traditional versus modern look for the rooms. Alex had come up with a design embracing them both. It was out with the old, tired-looking wallpaper, mismatching furniture and carpeted bathrooms. And it was in with the new, a modern 21st century feel that retained the period features, the essence of the Walpole's past.
I like it. I like the layout. The chairs look absolutely wonderful. With the curtains, they go really well with the battleship grey, something that a long time...
14 years we've been getting rid of battleship grey in this hotel, Alex.
I just think it's quite useful for you to see that you don't have to have wallpaper in a room for it all still to be period.
I love the fact that it looks clean, but it's still got character. And the bathroom's fantastic.
I love the bathroom. I love the mosaic tiles.
The other newly designed room went down well too.
I think really what I was just trying to show you is that you can keep all this period furniture and Justin can still get his nice, clean, modern look that today's traveller really does expect.
I think we've then accomplished what we set out to do then.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
The Walpole Bay Hotel now had a clear model for the future. To celebrate, the family organised a 1920s-themed party.
Hello. You all right, darling?
Transformed, darling, transformed.
What do you think?
You look gorgeous.
With the party in full swing downstairs, some of the guests were shown Alex's renovated bedrooms.
We've shown the beauty of the furniture.
Thank you. So it's a room that you'd like to stay in?
Oh, yes, definitely.
I think you've complemented the decor very well, and it's given it an upbeat, bright atmosphere, and I think you've improved them greatly.
I think the party's going really well. The room looks wonderful. There's lots of food. Everyone's had a drink or two. And almost everyone who's been up to the rooms think that they're wonderful. There's almost universal approval of what we've done there.
The 20s party was a roaring success. And with Jane's museum now under control, it was time for Alex to bow out.
The greatest thing we've achieved is bringing us together a bit more and that we're more focused.
The Walpole's leaner and meaner, and we do have direction now. We know where we're going.
I think my biggest challenge now is to carry on in the manner, to keep it up and not digress back into the way that we were.
Farewell. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, darling. Lovely to meet you. Thank
you, Alex.
For having me to your place. I've enjoyed every minute.
Thank you, Alex.
Lovely to meet you all, and I hope everything goes really well.
Yes, without you looking over our shoulder.
You never know when I might return, so keep the hats away from the reception, OK?
We'll try.
I'll see you soon, I promise.
And we'll try.
Thank you.
But 3 years on, has Alex's visit left a lasting impression?
It's had a tremendous effect on all of us at so many levels. So it was good for the business. It's increased our turnover, but it's been catastrophic, the effect Alex has had on our lives, family-wise. She said that I must give the children more responsibility and authority. Well, that's resulted in Dominique emigrating 12,000 miles away, and she didn't do it to get away from here, but I think it gave her the confidence to make up her own mind that that was what she wanted to do. Justin's been empowered. I promised him that I would allow him free range upstairs, but I haven't quite managed to do that.
It's still mum's fiefdom. I mean, it's just not going to get away with anything. The only way, actually, to get something done is just to completely ignore her. But being her son, I would like to involve her. What do you think of this? Well, I'm excited about the designs until they're discussed. And the discussion doesn't last very long. It's just no.
Alex is back in Margate. To prepare for her visit, she's arranged for some secret filming to make sure she has a true picture of the Walpole's progress. And she's soon faced with a video nasty.
Oh my gosh, the hornet's nest. She never got rid of it. Oh, that reception looks as bad as ever. Did she get rid of anything in the end? Or as soon as I turned my back, did she bring it all straight back in? The bloody dolls too, and look at all this mess. There's so much stuff that it's difficult to distinguish between what's rubbish and what has any intrinsic value at all. And all this that you can see from the function room, what on earth is it doing out there? It must be half rotten. Lots of this stuff should just be on a skip. I've seen enough, and I'm really very disappointed. It's time to go and beard the dragon lady in her den.
Can Alex provide a new broom?
Just clear out the rubbish.
Yeah, but it's the definition of rubbish.
Or will Jane sweep her under the carpet?
Alex, will you stop sighing so loudly?
And don't miss your chance to win a fabulous 7-night getaway full board to the tropical island of Mauritius, courtesy of Long Beach Resort, where you can spend your days relaxing by the lagoon. To be in with a chance of winning, call 0904 1611 555 or text HOTEL to 85559 or send your name and phone number to Hotel 5 PO Box 7557 Derby DE1 0NP. For full terms and conditions, please go to channel5.com/win. The hotel inspector has returned to the Walpole Bay in Margate to catch up with Jane Bishop and her son Justin. 3 years ago, Alex discovered a struggling business, a family at war,
calm down,
and a very odd assortment of museum memorabilia.
We are a repository for everyone else's dreams. And I tried to tell her the story behind the hornet's nest, and she wouldn't listen. Thought I was being crazy.
After her secret filming stirred up a hornet's nest, Alex wants to check whether the rest of Jane's junk has returned.
Well, how are they ever going to get anything out of there?
We've just bumbled along in our own way, and it works, so we carry on doing it. But I'm quite ready to do battle about my museum and my hornet's nest and my grotesque dolls, if that's what's needed.
Everything in the corridors is much better arranged, but the inevitable downside is that every cupboard is now stuffed to the rafters with all the shit that isn't out in public view.
With her call for a cull of the museum falling on deaf ears, Alex wants to know if Jane and the hotel have fallen back into bad habits.
Welcome back to my fiefdom, Alex. Lovely to see you.
How are you?
Oh, very, very well, thank you.
Looking beautiful.
Oh, thank you. So do you. I love the hair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The hornet's nest is still here, in its very own case.
You, young lady, you've made it world famous.
Oh, good. They come here especially to the Walpole to see it, do they?
Oh, they certainly do.
I want to see the rest of your
I've
toot.
even more...
Let's go, darling.
Alex.
After you.
Alex.
Really lead the way.
It's not toot.
OK, sorry, what should I call it?
People's treasured
Let me
memories.
think. Your collection of oddments.
I told you last time you'll grow to love it, and you really, really will.
Show me, show me.
It doesn't take long for the hotel inspector to suffer a case of déjà vu all over again.
Oh, you what are these doing back here?
They were homesick and they've come home.
It certainly looks nicer, all displayed like this. Oh, dear. Look at those three little red things.
They're wonderful. And lots of people had those in the 40s.
Did they?
Yes, they did.
I believe
And they all remember.
You know, I'm giving up on the whole bloody museum and control.
Thank you, Alex.
Darling, it shows incredible weakness on my behalf.
Fortunately, at least someone in the family has been paying attention to Alex's advice.
So how many have you done altogether?
I think now 22.
Son Justin has been busy continuing the renovations in the bedrooms, following Alex's template to great success.
Ooh, this is very familiar somehow. New carpet, though.
Yep.
New bedspread.
Yes.
New chairs.
Definitely.
Very new bathroom. Lovely.
I particularly like the grey colour in here.
I
Gives
love
off
it.
the...
It's really nice.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it's much more fun and more acceptable to have some quite old-fashioned furniture and even an old-fashioned look, but people want a modern bathroom, don't they?
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. Here we have a standard room.
The furniture looks great in here.
Thank you.
Really smart against this stripy wallpaper. The advantage to just doing up the rooms in this way and keeping your furniture is the character, the kind of ethos of the Walpole remains the same, but you have brought it into this century and all the essential bits. Yeah?
Yeah.
Well done.
Well, thank you. I'm glad it meets your approval.
It's fantastic, darling. Really well done.
Encouraged that both the bedrooms and the hotel's turnover have improved, Alex now wants to help the Walpole up its occupancy levels too. With Jane refusing to give up her museum, Alex has a plan to help promote both Justin's new bedrooms and his mother's unique collection in one fell swoop.
So, my dears, this is Simon
Hello,
from
Simon.
the Unusual
Justin.
and
Nice to
Unique
meet you,
Overnight
Justin.
Directory.
Nice to meet you. We're the largest directory in the world for unusual and unique places to stay. It's invitation only to come on board. And once you become part of our little tribe of unusual places to stay, you then benefit from the sales and marketing advice and expertise that we can give you in order to help fill the rooms Monday to Thursday, help get more bookings downstairs in the function suites, whatever it might be. The hotel is certainly good enough to be in, without any doubt.
Getting listed on Simon's directory for unusual accommodation will open up the Walpole Hotel to a huge number of potential new customers. But there's an important condition.
There are 1 or 2 areas that I would need to see cleared up. There are broken items up there sitting in the hallways. There are old dusty items up there sitting in the hallways. There's too much of it. It's almost overpowering.
It's helped to survive because of the number of visitors that it brings here. Alex, will you stop sighing so loudly?
Okay.
You're dangling the carrot and then telling me I've got to dispose of the essence of Walpole, of why people come now.
Sweetheart, they don't come for all that schmutter, darling.
They do come for all that stuff.
All Alex is saying is we need to throw away rubbish.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's the definition of rubbish.
How are you going to get any of that stuff out of a couple of cupboards up there? The doors don't open, darling.
I wasn't expecting that. I thought this visit was going to be all sweetness and light and she would be so pleased with everything we've done. Obviously not.
With the complicated clutter holding the hotel back from a potentially lucrative place on Simon's directory, Jane has reluctantly agreed to dump the detritus.
Right, your stuff's ready to go, Dick. Okay.
That one stays.
What? Oh, come on.
Darling, stop it.
What are we ever going to... That's got to go. Mum, that's going. Don't move it.
No, I'm just making access, just.
For Alex to come in, stamp all authority, get some rubbish done and gone, skipped. Fantastic.
And the spring clean doesn't end there. Alex wants Jane to tackle the overstuffed cupboards too.
I'm going in. I may be some time.
Let's give it here. Oh, God. There's another one here, Alex.
Thank you.
There we are.
Help me, please. Run. And do. Thank you so much. I know I've only made a small space, but by golly, that feels good.
With the Walpole Bay Hotel and Museum now looking decidedly less cluttered, Alex departs for the last time, confident that Margate's beacon to the past has a very rosy future.
I'm very pleased with you, because I know it was tough today to embrace the cleaning out.
Yes,
but I do think it was a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And now that we've got Simon's interest for you, I think that you'll get a lot of business from that.
Let's hope all this emotional stress is worth it after all.
I'm sure it is, darling.
Well done.
Mwah.
Thank you.
We've had a very, very good day. I've managed to get Jane to clear out some of the enormous heaps of rubbish that are all over the place. Justin's rooms look absolutely fantastic. And it looks like we've managed to get them signed up with a travel guide. The day has gone better than I could ever have hoped.
It was great to see the rooms were approved, and I'm really glad that Alex was able to see her influence within those rooms. To declutter, for me, it's fantastic. How about you?
Not yet. It's all too raw, don't ask me yet.
Next time, Alex revisits the African Queen.
Unbelievably, Andy doesn't have enough diesel. I feel a slight sinking feeling, actually. Look at this. We've got an hour before everyone arrives.
No hiding next tonight on Channel 5 with face-to-face nominations. There will be tears in Celebrity Big Brother. And on 5 Star, a new boss isn't impressed with the Mentalist's tactics.